The hype is building because we have the potential for one of the biggest battles we've ever seen with the Imperium versus Chaos. This was teased in an article about the Arks of Omen final book series, and it is saying that we're going to get something which hasn't been seen since the Siege of Terra in terms of scale and like just mass forces all coming together. So in this video, I want to explore all the possibilities on who's going to be turning up. Spoiler alert, there's going to be Primarchs mentioned in this video. All the forces of Chaos, all the forces of the Imperium. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. Now, if you haven't been following the Arks of Omen or the lore videos I've been doing and stuff like that, I'm just going to try and summarize what's happened so far. We've had Abaddon, who's basically sending out these arcs. He's given them to his most trusted advisors. Some of them are battling throughout the Imperium, other Xenos races. Dante came across one. That one was empty. Some plant things killed whoever's on board. There's more out there destroying, purging, doing whatever. Now, in the latest White Dwarf magazine, they actually did an interview with the chaps who are actually writing the Arks of Omen books. It's confirmed that we are going to be getting 5 books in this series. Well, technically 6, because they said one will be written via a White Dwarf magazine, but technically 5 Arks of Omen books you can actually buy in your hands in that series. The 4th one we still don't have a name for. Apparently it's going to be called Farsight. Apparently the 5th one is going to be called Lion, but that is just the rumor at this moment in time. Now, in the background, you can see some of the interview text, which they talked about this book series. I just want to point out some of the main things I'm going to talk about in this video, where it says here. So the first bit in the background, it says, on that note, the 5th book is like the final of the series, in which all of the many threads we've woven throughout the books finally come together for a truly epic clash between the Imperium and Chaos. So even though the 4th book is supposed to be, dedicated to the Xenos races, apparently that's going to be the Farsight and the Snickrock book. The final book is all about the Imperium versus Chaos. Sorry, Xenos players, but maybe there's a reason for this, which I'll go on in a second, which is going to work out for you Xenos players, by the way. Now, the truly thing that's getting me hyped about all of this is the size of the battle that they're talking about. So again, image in the background just to bring you all up to date. It says, especially the ones in space. Well, there's a space battle. Andy has done an incredible job of realizing the scale of the conflict we are aiming for. Put simpler, the final battle is bigger than anything we've written about since the Siege of Terra. Now, I'm currently reading the Siege of Terra, and it is absolutely mammoth in terms of scale. Like, just imagine all the legions who were there, right? They're like all the traitor legions who basically they're in full force. I would say maybe not the Night Lords, because Conrad Kurz went a bit weird and stuff like that. But there's millions, actually, there's probably untold numbers there, because you've just got infinite reinforcements from the warp and stuff like that. Of course, the loyalist side with the Khan, Sanguinius, Rogodon, and their sons and their legions and stuff like that. The countless Imperial Guard, or should I say Imperial Army regiments back then. There's, like, the scale itself is just, it's just mind-blowing. So to see that they're trying to achieve something like that, again, at the end of this book, means that we are going to be in for an absolute slam dunk of a battle. And what's really getting me even more excited about this, of course, is who's going to be taking part in this battle. If they're talking about the sheer scale of numbers, that means like the Indomitus Crusade fleets have to be getting involved. Where is all this going to be taking place? So we know leading up to the 5th book that the Rock is going to be besieged, but I don't think it's going to be about the Rock itself. I think the Rock is going to take part in this. I think the Dark Angels are going to be seeking vengeance. What if the Dark Angels call a last war protocol, or the Unforgiven protocol, whatever you guys call it, where you all come together and instead of hunting the fallen, you start hunting for vengeance against Abaddon and all his stuff, and then maybe the Lion pops up. We'll get to Lion in a second. So yeah, all these forces that are popping up, the Imperium side, definitely Gilliman, definitely the Indomitus fleets, some big characters, from the chapters who are involved. Dante's got to be there, of course. Dante's getting a new model. That all works out. The Blood Angels turn up. The Blood Angel successors, they all turn up. the Dark Angels and their successors, Azrael get a new model. Oh my holy emperor. Like, the scale of this could be absolutely epic if they do it the correct way. Of course, the Sons of Dawn are going to be there, the Black Templars, the Imperial Fist, the Reclaimers of Dawn, you know, these epic chapters that are crusading throughout the galaxy, trying to bring, you know, chaos under control. Now, on the chaos side of things, of course, you've got Vashtor and all the new fun he's bringing with him, you know, all these, you know, new weapons that he's been building. You're definitely going to have Angron involved. We know that the World Eater Legion, the entirety of the World Eater Legion is returning for this Arks of Omen storyline. Apparently, they're all going to be following Angron once more. Now, I don't know how many World Eaters are still left 10,000 years later, but I suspect a healthy amount of them are still available, so I can't wait to see that red tide hit things and stuff like that. You've got Abaddon, you've got, you know, the Black Legion. I'm sure maybe the Chaos Gods will get involved, so Death Guard, maybe Typhus, Mortarion. We haven't really seen Mortarion stuff since the end of the Plague Wars. I'm not going to go into what happened there, but, you know, if you've read that story, you know what happened to him. Magnus, again, Magnus is another key character. What's Magnus doing at this moment in time? Is he just gone back to, like, the planet of the sorcerers and he's just chilling there, relaxing there? Who bloody knows? Again, we know Fulgrim is back. He actually is in real space at this moment in time. It's mentioned in the first Ark books because Abaddon is absolutely furious with what Fulgrim is doing. It's Fulgrim being Fulgrim. I'm not going to say he's going to pop up at this final battle, but I wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets mentioned, like, you know, the forces of the Emperor's children, or this sightings of like a snake-like figure causing more mayhem, and maybe some forces have to split off to, you know, go and assist other planets and stuff like that. But let's get back on topic and let's talk about this final battle between the Imperium versus Chaos, because I have a really big theory about this, and, you know, if you've been watching my content now for a long time, you probably know where I'm going to go with this. I think this is going to be the Lion returning. I think this, right, to set the scene, I think Chaos is about to win the Imperial fleet, the Imperial battle, on this planet, wherever this fight is taking place. There is mention there is a massive space battle, so if it's a massive space battle, I'm sure there's going to be planets around it. Maybe Chaos wins the space battle, and they're about to ascend on the planet, but then another fleet arrives in the system, and it's the Lion and his sons, or the forces that he's managed to gather, just like Guilliman did at the Siege of Terra, and he comes and, you know, he helps out. The Lion has his chance now to redeem himself and actually put into actions which he couldn't do during the Siege of Terra and actually help out the Imperium. The Lion, of course, then returns. You have like all the brand new models that we've been talking about, the Lion's Guard, Azrael, you know, some of the Dark Angel stuff, which has been rumored to be getting range refreshes. I really think that is kind of nailed on the wall. I'm sure they're going to do it a complete different way. I actually do have a theory, which I'm going to be talking about this week. You're going to get double Lion videos this week, by the way, because I actually think the Lion is awake. I know. But we'll get onto that in, you know, the video during the week. But the Lion returns, and then it rallies the Imperium. Maybe it rallies Guilliman. Maybe Guilliman and Abaddon are fighting. That's what I want to see. I want to see Guilliman versus Abaddon. Who do you think will win in that fight, right? I know Abaddon is kind of like the beefed up main Chaos guy now, but Guilliman's a Primarch, right? He's a Primarch wielding the Emperor's sword, and if you've been following the lore, like, the Faith itself is kind of empowering Guilliman, because the Faith is kind of like a big deal now. Like, it's combating Chaos in its own ways. So yeah, maybe you do have juiced up, roided Chaos Abaddon, not like Horus, but, you know, that kind of Abaddon, but you also have like a juiced up Guilliman, Primarch, with the Emperor's sword, which can perma-kill you. That is a fight that I would love to see. Maybe Abaddon is about to win Guilliman, and that's when the Lion comes in, and the Lion actually saves him, or something like that. But again, that's just me going into theory mode. I'm sure there's other epic battles out there. I would love to see the Lion take on Angron. That is a fight that I am absolutely dying to see. You know, like, the Lion himself, he hunts monsters, and there's nothing more monstrous at this moment in time than Angron himself. He is just a blood-filled red monster. So, I say like the lion actually hunting Angron and trying to take him on, that is something, again, I would love to see. And it potentially could happen, because I actually do think the World Eaters are going to be taking part in the Siege of the Rock. So potentially, again, we could have that type of fight setting up, and the lion seeking his revenge on Angron. Now, just before we end the video, I want to talk about the Xenos races, because as I've stated, the final battle apparently is between Imperium versus Chaos, and I'm sure a lot of Chaos players, a lot of Xenos players, not Chaos players, a lot of Xenos players are like, hey, what's the deal? We're a part of this galaxy too. Well, maybe this is actually going to work out in your favor, because what if the Imperium and Chaos actually waste so many resources fighting each other, they actually have to have, a lot of time to recover, and in that time, the other Xenos races take advantage. The Orcs start warring all over the galaxy, planet after planet. The Imperium can't reinforce itself because it's exhausted itself. Chaos starts losing planets, to Xenos races and stuff like that, because they can't reinforce themselves. But this kind of then can set up to the Tyranids, because the Tyranids apparently are going to be in the 10th edition starter set. So, they gotta have to have some type of backstory. Maybe the Tyranids see this battle, and they're the ones who really take advantage of this, and they start pushing more deeper into the galaxy, consuming planet after planet, and the forces of the Imperium, Chaos itself, actually can't combat it, because again, they've exhausted themselves in this big, massive battle. Anyway, Chaperoonios, that is enough waffling from me. As always, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Do you think the lion is going to turn up at the end and be the savior of the Imperium? What else do you see? Like, this big battle they're talking about between the Imperium versus Chaos, what forces would you like to see? What battles between characters would you like to see? Like an Imperium character versus a Chaos character, stuff like that. Like, what is like the big thing which would blow your socks off in this huge, massive battle? Have a great day. See you now, and bye-bye.